Welcome to the pod, guys. We are vlogging today. Yeah, we're vlogging. I have Willa here. If you're watching, if you're not, Will is here. Hi. And Win. They're both here. What's up, guys? Yeah, I'm trying to vlog. And here's the thing about like wanting to be better about vlogging. The only days I can't fathom vlogging on an actual like work day when I have things going on, because the ADD is like so triggering, and then I get frustrated because I'm like, do I have to videotape, film every like little thing I'm doing? So then the only days that I'm like, yeah, I'll fucking throw up a vlog are the days that I'm doing jack shit, and then people get that perception of content creation. They're like, oh, all she does is fucking do boxing and drink creation lemon waters, which is what I have right here. But that's not the case. I just physically cannot fathom vlogging on a busy day. And yet here we are. I got both dogs with me today. I'm gonna be fucking honest with you guys, okay? I was a little fucking burnt out. I took last week off. I'm so sorry I deprived you guys of just this highly intellectual information that I know you guys just wait all week for. Fashion week has been crazy, and I guess we're just kind of going to use that as a jumping point into today's episode, which is everything I wish I knew in my 20s, which really isn't specific to 20s, because it's things to this day that I still have to remind myself of, and I am not in my 20s. But how I'm going to start this is without shedding too much so that my publicist doesn't get mad at me. By the time you listen to this, guys, also, we are living in the future right now, so you will hear this 2 weeks from today. I was supposed to be in Paris right now, actually. My bags are all packed all over the floor. This is not only my podcast room, it's my office, it's my packing room, it's my Kelsey working on the floor room. Like, we do everything here. I was supposed to be in Paris for Paris Fashion Week, and I kind of got fucking cucked. I was really looking forward to it. Fashion week it's not an integral thing in my industry. And by industry, I mean just entertainment, right? It's not something, there are creators and actors and musicians that partake in fashion weeks and others do not. It's not integral. However, there's so many benefits of doing fashion week. It's kind of one of those things that can take your career to this different level and kind of get you out of this bubble of just being a content creator. It can really benefit the longevity and the direction of your career if you do it correctly. The issue is it's fucking expensive. I've been fortunate now. I've done five fashion weeks, and three of them. Three of the five, I was fortunate enough to go with a brand. So what I was spending out of pocket was very minimal, because it's very fucking expensive. I had 2 New York Fashion Weeks and 1 Paris Fashion Week that I was fortunate enough to go with a brand. And the reality is it's not very common. A lot of people do have to pay out of pocket when they go to Fashion Week, and it's a steep fucking bill, because you have your flights and then you're doing an international Fashion Week. Take out a fucking loan, bitch. You got your flights, you have your hotel. Then you have, your stylist fee if you have a stylist, and then you have glam, which it runs up a fucking bill. You have your glam for all your shows. And then the other thing is usually you hire a photographer or a videographer for like every show that you do to capture content, because that's kind of the whole point of why you're there, is to kind of show that you're there and create content and create the buzz. So it ends up being quite expensive. It's not something that I treat very lightly. I think financially, I haven't talked much about this. I don't got anything to fall back on. That's just kind of, if this doesn't work out for me, I don't have anything besides what I make. And that has been this looming pressure in the back of my mind, because I've seen people very close to me who have financially done very well and then have lost it all, or just look at the fucking economy, look how quickly things change. So I'm kind of always trying to think about my future, and every financial move I make with my career is a chess move. Sometimes you lose a fuck ton of money, sometimes it works out. And anyway, I was supposed to be in Paris Fashion Week, a trip that was fully fronted by moi. That's me in French. Flights, I was bringing myself, I was bringing a manager, and I was bringing Kelsey. Flights, 2 hotel rooms, glam, photographers, very expensive. The night before my Paris trip, I had a big call with my team and my publicist, and I was going out for one show in particular. That was a show I was very much looking forward to doing, and I got the first round of invites directly from the brand very early on, and I was very excited, and we planned this trip, and we were going to do a couple other shows while we were there, and there was a last minute cucking the night before, and I got the news. It was 8 p.m. We were supposed to be leaving the following morning. And my team was like, listen, we can still go, or, it's up to you. And I was so angry. It's less about people fucking with once people fuck with my money, I get really mad. But for me at this stage in my life, my time is so precious. And people that fuck with my time, that's what really bothers me. Because the prep for this trip, as dramatic as this is, again, guys, I know this is not like an integral thing, right? Like it's a work trip. But there's about 4 days prep that goes into these international fashion week trips, because you're going back and forth, meeting with a stylist. You're doing whatever kind of beauty maintenance, stupid fucking shit. You need to go get your nails done and your hair and whatever it is. You're going to be front facing, packing. It's about 4 days of prep, and not only 4 days of prep, but taking days off of shooting my pod, taking days off of meetings, and kind of like pushing everything to the week after or the week before, and cramming things in so that I have time, and time that I could have spent with my dogs, time that I could have spent doing my podcast and other shit. And that's what really fucking pissed me off. And I was really mad. I said, I need like 10 minutes. Can I hang up? They're like, yeah, we'll call you back. We'll talk how we can kind of salvage this financially, and we can chat through it. And I was really mad. And the more I thought about it, the more I had this very strong intuition that even there was a chance that it was still going to work out. They were trying to reconcile the situation, not my team, the brand. And I said, you know what? I kind of, after a couple hours, I texted my manager. I said, I'm gonna be honest with you. Even if they do reconcile it, I'm not going to go. I'm not going to do it. Because when I was acting, and I talked a little bit about this on social media, and I've touched about it on here, but I think it's really fucking important. And I want to drive home the message any chance that I can get. When I was solely acting, which was over 10 years of my life, 10 years of unemployed acting, 10 years of, I did my child acting. That was a separate period of my life. I don't really even chunk that in with the 10 years from 2015, when I was like 100% pursuing acting. I was so fucking desperate. And the argument is you kind of have to be doe-eyed. You kind of have to be desperate, because there's a gajillion people that want the same job as you, and you have to be doe-eyed, and you have to be not willing to not take no as an answer, and essentially kill yourself working so hard to just try to make 5% progress. But I got so used to that mentality that I completely lost the plot. Pursuing being an artist it's self-deprecating. It really fucks with your intuition, and it fucks with your craft, because you get to a point where you're like, what am I creating, and why am I even creating? I used to do this because I loved it. And now I'm doing it because I need validation, because validation is the key to me making money, and I need to fucking make money. For a big chunk of my career, I never took no's the way that I wish I took no's. This is not special to acting. It's just honestly pursuing being an entrepreneur, or any kind of art, especially when it's fucking subjective. Anytime I would get a no, I instead of having this realization of, okay, I trust it. I trust that thing is not meant to be for me, however fucking woo-woo we want to get, okay? I never had that moment of like, okay, you know what? Maybe it's just not meant for me. Maybe I'm not supposed to be there at that time. Maybe I'm not ready. I don't know why, but maybe for some reason I'm not fucking ready. Instead of ever having that mentality, I never had that mentality. I had the mentality of when I got a no, I let my ego get involved. I took that as, I'm not good enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not talented enough. Now I need to prove myself even more. I think a big chunk of me pursuing acting, I think I had halfway through all of that, I think I lost the plot, and I just was doing it because I wanted to prove that I could do it. because I was getting so many no's that I was like, I can't shut off now. I have to prove to people that I will get a yes. And then I was just so fixated on getting a yes rather than just doing the thing that I love. And it got me nowhere. Granted, yes, I worked jobs as an actor. Like I didn't, I did have moments in which I was validated and my art was validated. But nevertheless, I never had the mentality of maybe this is just a redirection and not a rejection. And I wish I did. And the moment everything went kind of south for me when I was pursuing acting, it felt like I lost a lot in a very short blip of time. I had, no money between the strikes and I lost my health insurance and then COVID. Like there was just no money to be made. And the tiny little money that was to be made was going to actors, super seasoned actors that were already on shows and already working the 1%. And I was like, I don't know where else to go. Like I have to entertain. I physically can't imagine myself not entertaining, but I don't know what that looks like because I never allowed myself to see what it could look like outside of acting. And I remember very, very vividly having a moment where I said, okay, I've played the game one way for the last 10 years. Nothing has gone anywhere near where I wanted it to go. Let me just try this new thing where I kind of trust the process. And I hate saying that to people, like, oh, trust the process. Because until you have that really low where you have to look in the mirror and come to terms with that on your own, you're never going to listen to somebody when they say trust the process. Anytime, because it's always a really successful person that tells you to trust the process. It's like Mel Robbins, and you're like, well, yeah, you're super successful and so good at what you do, and you get acknowledgement for your accomplishments. Of course, you're going to say trust the process, right? It's always somebody that's come out the other end that you feel so detached from, and it feels so unrelatable that you're like, no, I can't. It's easy for you to say. And that's how I was too. So I always feel weird telling people to trust the process because I know for me, when people would tell me that, I would be like literally fall on fucking shards of glass. Like shut up. But truly, the second I kind of trusted the process, this whole world that I really just didn't even know existed, especially didn't know it existed for me, opened up and my life was completely changed. And I toy with that a little bit because when I say that, I think that you should fight. I think that you should always fight for yourself, for your brand, for your art, for your integrity. You should always fight. It's not like you do something and someone says no and you're like, okay, let's change career paths. I think it's just knowing when to stop pushing back. I think fight for something, always fight for your worth and your art. But fight towards the right people. If there are people that just don't fucking believe in what you do, don't waste your time fighting, trying to turn their no into a yes. Instead of putting all that energy into the people that don't believe in you and your art, go put that shit towards people that already see the value in what you do. So I had this moment, and I'm quote unquote much more successful right now than I am then. And I kind of still got fucking cucked really bad. And the rule of thumb is you're going to get fucked over. You're going to get fucked over by friends, in relationships, bosses, whoever the fuck. You're going to get fucked over. And the more you get fucked over, the more tools you just put in your little toolbox. This feeling of me being cucked, it's not new. I've dealt with it a million times. It felt a little strange because there was a part of me that thought I finally reached this level where I've escaped the cucking. The cucking is always going to exist at every level. It doesn't fucking matter who you are or what you do or where you are in your career or relationships or finances, whatever. You're going to get cucked. But there's so much power in saying, I am not going to let someone do that to me. And if this opportunity ever comes back, I'm out. I made it very clear to my team. It's done. It's kind of dead to me. And it's so fucking empowering. I'm going to read you guys something. And this isn't just fashion, by the way. This is something that sticks with me through all things. And I think this is important because when you are an artist, it's very easy to let your ego get involved and let your ego win and do things because it'll make you look good instead of having integrity. It's very, very easy to be tempted to lose integrity for an opportunity that you think is good. But I am going to read you something that, forget the fucking fashion aspect of this. Forget any part of this. This is kind of something that I really, really respect, if I can fucking find it. So Zendaya, who is actually one of my favorite, she's like my muse. I love Zendaya, okay? She's also just one of the biggest actresses in the fucking world. Zendaya doesn't wear Chanel and several other major luxury brands because they refused to dress her when she was an emerging star. Her longtime stylist, Law Roach, love Law Roach, remembers these rejections from the big 5 fashion houses, Chanel, Dior, Gucci, Valentino, and Saint Laurent, and made a pact with Zendaya that their initial no would be a forever no. Consequently, Zendaya still refuses to represent these brands on the red carpet, choosing instead to support designers who believed in her vision from the start. That's all you need to know. I don't care what you do. It's not being spiteful. It's just having respect for yourself and your brand. And there are people who have said no to me early on that I've worked with. I just wasn't ready to work with them. And I know that now. I'll give you an example. When I booked Ambitions, I booked a show. I was so frustrated for so long that I wasn't, people didn't want to do stuff with me outside of like kids comedy. And I was like, oh my God, I just need this role. I need a role that's going to show people that like, I'm done with that shit. Like I want to be doing something else. When I booked Ambitions, that was really my first time at drama. It was my first time, having intimate scenes and doing things that were so out of my wheelhouse as an actor. And I will never forget day 1 of shooting, I said, you know what? I understand now why I never got this opportunity until right now. I was not ready. I thought I was ready. And now that I'm here, I'm scared shitless. And I'm way more seasoned now than I was last year and the year prior to that and so on. I was not ready when I thought I was ready. All of that to say, these are things that I wish that I knew in my 20s. Forget the number. I don't think it just sounds catchy to say things that I wish that I knew. But I think taking no's and understanding that sometimes it's just a redirection. It's not you're not good enough, you shouldn't be doing this. It's just hey, you're not ready for this right now for whatever reason, or you need to be over here right now and you'll understand why later. So number 1, some of your favorite memories will end up being the ones that didn't go as planned. So just go for the ride. That is actually every single plan that you have. Enjoy it in your brain because it most likely is not going to pan out at all in the way that you think. It's not linear. It's going to be ups and downs. It's not going to make sense. But I can tell you this, I am not doing anything that I thought I was going to be doing. And I really enjoy what I'm doing. So sometimes the thing that's meant for you is the thing that's not even in the stratosphere of your brain. So just kind of fucking enjoy the ride and, collect tools along the way, collect the feeling of grief, the feeling of loss, the feeling of happiness, like collect all of these emotions. And it just helps you process things down the line so much easier and so much more graceful. You're going to lose friends. You're going to lose them and you're probably going to lose actually majority of them. You're going to lose majority of them. I remember like when I was younger and I would have a friend and people would be like, you're probably not going to be best friends forever. But we're going to be best friends forever. The reality is most of those people are not going to be your friends. And it's sometimes really has nothing to do with either of you. It's just usually we make friends in arenas in which it's proximity. You go to school, you have to be friends with people within your proximity or else you won't have a social life. You know what I mean? And then when you both leave that proximity, you have to ask yourself the questions of, oh, wait, are we actually really compatible in the real world outside of our workout class or our job or our school? And if you are, that's great, amazing. Keep those people close. But more times than not, you don't have anything in common and that's okay. Caring about what other people think about you will be your biggest regret. And I will stand by that. You are going to waste or have wasted so much time caring about what people think about you. There's like, this resurfaced, very basic quote all over TikTok right now is, if you wouldn't trade lives with people that say negative shit about you, why do you care? There's no like really successful, awesome person that's just like going around like shitting on people. Like I like to gossip. I'm gonna be honest with you. I gossip. I love a good gossip. But like anybody that's just like really passionate about the choices of other people in their own life that don't affect anybody else besides that person, it's weird as fuck. And we're all gonna die. I mean, I know it's morbid, but life's a joke, right? It's only life. It's useless. It's a waste of time to care about what other people think of you. And you can try to fit into those molds that they want to put you in, and then you'll wake up one day and you won't even recognize yourself. So what's the fun in that? You are not your parents. You do not have to do things exactly as they would. As an only child, that's been a revelation that has changed my life. Again, it's a proximity thing. Growing up, you think a certain way, you value certain things, you have certain beliefs because that's what's happening under your roof. And then you leave that roof and you go, whoa, I don't know if I think all of these things. That's okay. That is okay. You don't have to do things the way that your parents did. And I know that there's a lot of pressure and it's hard, like you only get one family. You want to make your family proud and you really only know the examples that were shown to you, but it's okay to do things and like things that are different than your parents. I meant like even me having tattoos. When I had tattoos, my parents, I mean, now they don't really bother me. They don't really give a shit. But when I started getting tattoos and my parents would say things to me, my mom would talk to me as if I was her making those decisions about getting a tattoo. And I was like, whoa, I am not you. Like all of the information that you're telling me right now about how you see tattoos, I don't see it that way. You're thinking I went into this with the same brain as you. We're different people. I'm going to make different choices. I express myself very differently than you do. And that is okay. Period. If it's not a fuck yes, it's a no. If somebody tells you something or asks you to do something, this has been my rule. And my reaction is, I got to say no. Even for work things, if my team calls me and they're like, hey, so there's this thing. And I go, I really try to not do it. Granted, it's fucking life. I have to do things I don't want to do. We all have to do things we don't want to do. Like you don't get to just be like, I'm only going to pick the really fun, like easy things. However, if you're constantly finding that there's a certain person in your orbit that's causing you stress, or there's something that doesn't excite you that you keep having to do, like, hello, what are you fucking doing? If you can't make room for I like this one, okay? You can't make room for the good if you don't get rid of the bad. That goes for jobs, relationships, and habits. I'll actually just say this list I extracted from, I used to have a series on TikTok back in 2021 where I did a series of everything I learned in my 20s, and I found those videos and I revisited all these things and I'm like, damn, I was fucking wise even 4 years ago. That one I've learned. You only have so much energy to give. And if you have things in your life that are subconsciously taking up your energy, you will not be open to receive good things, new job opportunities, friends, relationships. If you got this like whack ass person that's like somewhere in your orbit and you're kind of just keeping them there, even though you don't think you're giving them a lot of time and attention, subconsciously they are sucking energy out of you, and that's energy you could be putting into better shit. So the second you are able to identify the things in your life that are dragging you the fuck down, find a way to get them out of your life so that you have room for the things that should be there. All of your relationships should be decently easy. I think this one's a little bit trickier when you're younger, because when you're younger, everything seems like the end of the world. And I think when you're younger, you're a little bit more drawn to chaos and drama, and especially in relationships, especially in heterosexual relationships. I think the drama excites you usually when you're younger. The reality is most relationships should be easy. You're going to have conflict. You're going to have things you disagree on. You just got to learn how to communicate. On that note, if you have to keep making excuses for him, he's not the one. And this isn't just him. This is like your friend or your parent or your boss. Or if you're constantly finding yourself making excuses, come on. It's like, what are you doing? Get like that. No, especially I'll tell you, if you're a girl and you're dating a guy right now and like you'll be like, oh, he did this, but he was really tired, but he's just like really overwhelmed with work, but he just like got out of a long-term relationship, so he's just like protecting himself. Like if you're doing that all the time, bitch, fucking get out. No, I promise you, it should be decently easy. If they want to see you, they will find time to see you regardless of how busy they are. If they want to text you and talk to you, they will find the 2 seconds out of their day to send you a text message. Like, it really is not that complicated. Stop fucking making it like the Da Vinci Code, okay? Confidence is the sexiest trait. So stop obsessing over the superficial stuff. There it is. Boom. Like, you know, there's a lot of pressure, especially with social media, to keep up with trends. And at the end of the day, I live in LA. I live in the Mecca. I probably live in the most beautiful place ever. Like, it's just, you walk around and you're like, whoa, I can't believe these people actually exist. Just like stunning, stunning people. And I can tell you, I've been to a lot of events. I've been to a lot of premieres. I've been to a lot of carpets. I have met some of the most visually pleasing people you could ever fucking believe. Like, you look at them and you go, whoa. And then you talk to them and you go, you know what? You are not as attractive as I thought you were. And then I've met people that maybe I'm not gawking at, and I have a conversation with them and I go, oh my God, there's something about you. You got that je ne sais quoi. I just want to be in your brain. You know, it really is being confident and like just carrying yourself in a way that you are just committing to yourself and doing it so unapologetically. It's the sexiest fucking thing. And you can get all the surgery and the facials and wear all the nicest clothes. If you don't love yourself and people don't see it, none of that shit matters. I say that I've talked about this before, but I say that to my mom all the time. You know, my mom's been so beautiful my entire life, and she's the only person that didn't know it. And I would say to her, like, if you just acknowledged your beauty, like, dude, you could change the fucking world. You are so beautiful and you have no idea. And it's your biggest downfall because everybody else sees it. And for some reason you don't. And again, I'm not saying, like, again, confidence isn't looking in the mirror every day and being like, you know what? I am the sexiest fucking bitch that's ever walked. I don't have a zit on my face. I feel good about everything. No, it's just learning that you're going to have good days and bad days and just trying to not let that affect the person that you are and the person that you put out to others. Quitting or losing your job might be the best thing that happens to you. Redirection. Embrace redirection. You will be very surprised where it will lead you. And it's fun. It's kind of an adventure. When people who are older than you talk about how fast life goes by, believe them. You kind of blink and it's like 10 years later, and it's the older you get, the more morbid that feels. And the older you get, the more you're like, yeah, why did I waste so much time over stupid fucking shit? It's just, it was over in 2 seconds in the scheme of the timeline of my life. Multiple sources of income, even if they are small. If you don't know where to start with what you're good at. Again, like, I'm not trying to be tone deaf. Getting a job right now is very difficult. You know, that is not lost on me. But I think with social media, I think with the kind of technology that we have, the ways in which we can connect with people so easily and seamlessly, just always they can be very, very small amounts of income. And again, just start with what you're good at. If you're an artist, paint some shit, sell it on Etsy. Like, whatever it is, things can disappear so quickly. If you can find a way to have multiple, even if they are small, streams of income, it's just a good habit to be in. I'm a firm believer in not putting all your eggs in one basket. And that might be a little cynical. And you know what? Maybe I am a little cynical. Sue me. Don't sue me. I have a really good lawyer. You are going to fail. In fact, you have to fail. And you will understand why later. I saw a video on TikTok yesterday that I really liked, that I reposted, where he said, you have to create bad art. You have to create bad content. You have to give yourself the permission to create bad art, because you have to. It's like integral to give yourself that freedom. And creating bad art, I mean, you look at any filmmakers and you look at like the first projects that they made, they were terrible, but you have to make them because it has to exist before you create the good things. And you have to give yourself that permission to just create without the expectation of, is this going to be good or bad? Like, you have to play. My therapist said that one time. She's like, what do you do to play? I'm like, what do you mean? Like, play? What do you mean play? She's like, what do you do to just like, no stakes, being a kid, just acting and enjoying something. I'm like, I don't play. I always expect some sort of outcome. I do this because I want to feel this or whatever it is, but just do things to do things. I got 3 more. My favorite one, I used to actually have this, a version of this on my fridge. If you can't change something, change your attitude towards it. Maya Angelou, that was that quote. If you can't, I think it was actually exactly that. That's my favorite one, because the reality is unfortunately, I hate to be the one to tell you this, you're not going to be able to change most things. You don't have control of quite literally anything. And trust me, if that's a hard realization for anybody, it's me. I like not having control is like very scary. And I've learned I just don't have control. Only thing I have control of is like what I create, the people that I love, the things that I like, the outcomes of things. And the outcome is what we all obsess over. We don't have any control of that. So instead of fixating on something that you really have no say in anyway, just change your attitude. And part of that is being like, hey, whatever happens, I trust the process. That's changing your attitude. Find things you love to do alone. Your relationship with yourself is the most important relationship. I'm an only child. Yes, I am biased to this. I think it is integral to learn how to be by yourself. I have people in my life that do not know how to be alone, and I see it affect everything that they do. I'm not saying you have to be an alone person. I'm not saying you have to, prioritize that over anything else, but you should know how to be alone. And if you don't, if that scares you, start doing things now. Like go grab lunch by yourself, go to a bookstore by yourself, go on a walk by yourself. When you're by yourself, that is the version of you that is the truest version of you. That's the version of you where your brain starts thinking about things that you don't have the chance to think about when you're around other people. And if you don't make habits to learn how to be okay being alone now, it's very hard to do as you get older. And I have friends that should have done that work. I have just people in my life that should have done that work that are so dependent on being around people, and the idea of being alone scares them. And I think a lot of that too comes from people are afraid to be alone with their own thoughts. Hey, I don't fucking blame you. Okay. Sometimes I'm alone and my brain starts doing things and I go, whoa, you need to pipe down. But you have to make that the norm, and then it'll be less scary. And the last thing is, positive thinking is a habit. So start today. It's true. What does it take? Like 30 days to make something a habit? It's kind of like when you eat shit, right? When you're eating junk food, once you eat junk food, it's very easy for the rest of the week to just keep eating junk food. When you're eating healthy and you've done the work and you know how good you feel, the stakes feel a lot higher to be like, oh, I'm going to ruin it and just eat a bunch of shit or not eat at all. Positive thinking is kind of the same way. Your brain actually can be rewired. I'm working on that right now with always thinking about the worst case scenario. Like that's how my brain is literally wired. I've wired it myself, by the way. That's no one else is doing but myself. So things will happen and I'll be like, but what if this, what if this? And it's literally habitual. It's natural. Like it's the first thing that happens when I get news about anything. I have a great talent making a good situation absolutely terrible, because I'll be like, right, but what if, and I'll just spit out the most outrageous hypothetical, and then I will spiral about it and obsess over it. So I'm working on trying to, the second I hear something, once I hear that hypothetical come in, I'm really trying to kick it out of my brain. It's literally a habit. And then sometimes I break the habit. Like I'll do really well, and then I'll just get into a mood where I fall back into those bad habits. But checking it and being aware of it is the first step. And then just trying to kick that thought out of your brain once it comes in. Do you guys have anything to say? Winston? Will? No. So the reality is I might be in Paris in 2 days. Oh my God, I need a Zofran. I might be in Paris in 2 days. I don't know. I don't fucking know. It doesn't matter. Honestly, I don't care. If I'm supposed to be there, I'll be there. If not, I'll be at a pumpkin patch here. I don't care. I don't care. Either way, I will be in New York at some point. I'm very much looking forward to that. The moral of the story is have integrity in your brand and your art, and it really only takes one person to believe in what you do, one person to like you, one person to be a fan, for it to be bigger than just you and that thing that you create. And put your energy into those people that don't make you feel like you got to change who you are to be good at what you do. And rejection is normal. Redirection is normal. People are fucking assholes. They fuck you over at every level. But if you make your habit being, whatever happens to me, I'm not going to let it discourage me from doing the thing I love and the thing that I know I'm fucking good at. Oh man, it's a power unlike any other. That's really where the power comes. I was reading that Zendaya thing again, and I was like, God, that must be the most powerful feeling, to be one of the biggest actresses in the fucking world and still say, nope, I'm not going to wear that. You know, and it's not spiteful. It's why would I not wear one of the hundreds of designers that have celebrated me? Why would I not do that? There's power in saying no, and there's power in sticking to your guns. I love you guys, and I'll see you Thursday. Bye. I gotta hit a note.